Now your forecast first, sponsored by Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. Open year-round to service your tax needs.
Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Shades. For most of us, it has been a rather quiet day. A lot of sunshine, a few passing cumulus clouds with temperatures in the mid-80s. Nice view on the Pontiac RV camera. We have a few pop-up showers out there, most of which in LaSalle County and just west of Knox County, but temperatures here in Peoria comfortable, 84 with mostly clear skies. By 7, temps around 81 will drop into the upper 60s later tonight. Another chance for a few showers and storms late tonight, early tomorrow. We'll have that forecast coming up. Wmbd News at 5 starts now.
As concerns over unrest continue across the state, the National Guard starts a response in Peoria. I'm Matt Sheehan with a look at how troops are helping protect the community.
Meditation, prayer, and protests. I'm Wmbd in Bloomington, and I'll tell you what McLean County community members have been doing all day to stand against inequality.
Remembering George Floyd, I'm Skyler Henry in Minneapolis, where hundreds are paying their respects at this first memorial service.
First tonight, breaking news. A Peoria man now facing federal charges. Police believe this man, Quintez Gibson, posted 4 Facebook Live videos. They included threats to police and calls for people to gather referring to rioting. Gibson is now criminally charged with using the internet to incite a riot. If convicted, he faces 5 years in prison. A group in the Twin Cities rallying for change. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Rebecca Brumfield. Kimberly has the evening off. Manash Gwangwari joins us live from a peaceful gathering in Bloomington. Manash, what is happening there right now?
Yeah, guys, well, earlier today, community members took to Facebook and said they would be protesting in front of the McLean County Museum of History at 5, but it seems that's been pushed back to 6, and it's going to be happening here at the McLean County Law and Justice Center. But I want to show you a quick video that we took in Normal, where community members came together at Uptown Circle for meditation and prayer. A community member in Normal actually posted on Facebook saying that she was going to go there, giving people a chance to join her and reflect on some of the violence that our country has seen this past week. And she wanted people to brainstorm ways in which they can solve some of these issues that many people here in the community and all over the country are really dealing with at this time. And again, that protest that's supposed to be happening here will be happening at 6 o'clock. We will be here and we'll tell you what's happening as it's happening. In Bloomington, I'm Manash Gwangwari.
Manash, thank you. Putting action behind words of promise. Central Illinoisans who are looking to find a way to support the Black community can do so in numerous ways. One is by supporting a Black-owned business. Conversations surrounding the death of George Floyd have sparked a global discussion aimed at challenging all people to support the Black community in any way you can.
Is the next evolution of America's growth as a country is to make sure that we embrace business, especially Black business owners, and give them a chance. Because if you strengthen Black businesses, you strengthen Black communities, and you strengthen Black people, and you strengthen America all at the same time. And I don't know what could make more sense than that.
Peoria's Black Business Directory houses diverse places where you can spend money. It's also a place where you can engage in conversations to educate yourself about the Black community.
Go and do business with them. I mean, be intentional about going and letting them know that we appreciate that you're here and that, you know, we want to buy your products and services. One
of over 30 business owners highlighted from the directory says support is encouraged in his storefront.
What would you want when you want your people to support you? And so that's where, you know, us, the Black owners, our minority owners feel also. Support us. We're here for you.
Young's Popcorn Heaven has been backed by the community for 4 years. The owners saying they'll be out and about selling popcorn with restrictions lifting from COVID-19. The Lake Avenue store back to regular operating hours. Business owners along with the community also getting assistance from the National Guard. Matt Sheehan joins us from our newsroom now. Matt, what are some of the things that these Guard members will be doing?
Well, yeah, Rebecca, hopefully this will provide some relief for Peoria police officers, many working double shifts lately to protect businesses from looting. Now, Governor Pritzker expanded his disaster proclamation Wednesday, adding Peoria to one of the Illinois' 15 counties in the proclamation. Now, guardsmen will be on standby at different commercial businesses throughout the city of Peoria, allowing police to respond to calls. Mayor Jim Artis tells me there's no reason to be concerned the guard is here and that they're just here to support police.
We don't have any information that says we're going to have a huge spike in violence or anything else. It's totally, at this point at least, it's preventive, and it's intentionally and hopefully to take some of the pressure off our police department.
And Artis says he never officially requested the National Guard to come to Peoria. He and City Manager Patrick Urick talked to Governor Pritzker's office about what the process would be. That was on Monday, but Artis says it wasn't until the governor's office alerted Peoria police that we knew the National Guard would be activated. Rebecca.
Matt, thank you. From our Twin Cities newsroom, McLean County judges are cracking down on those who get arrested for stealing merchandise during violent protests. Now, as we know, several people are facing charges of felony level for looting, burglary, and mob action. Police believe all played a role in the Bloomington Eastland Mall incident on Monday. Now, although innocent until proven guilty, many are seeing their bond amounts higher than expected. State's Attorney Don Knapp says the lowest bond set for the allegations was around $40,000.
I think people should be forewarned that if you get caught and get arrested, it's going to cost you at least $4,000 to get out of jail, and maybe as much as $30,000. I think that sends a pretty serious message to everybody of just how worrisome that behavior is.
Knapp believes most, if not all, of who were accused will file a motion to have their bond reduced. Still, he is warning community members that there are penalties they could face for committing these actions. A man in McLean County turned himself into police last night. Police believe he's responsible for setting off a smoke device during a peaceful rally in Bloomington. It happened outside of the Law and Justice Center. The sheriff's office released the photo of the man. Now, Facebook users then helped police identify who he is. Right now, the sheriff is not releasing his name. He is currently booked into the McLean County Detention Facility. Now more than ever, local medical experts are sharing the importance of mental health. Many believe while there's an importance to stay informed, sometimes you do need to distance yourself from absorbing too much information. President of Unity Point Place says mental and physical health are just as important now as ever. He also adds a stress reaction is normal, but the longevity of stress people have due to the pandemic and now civil unrest is cause for concern.
Really focus on what do you have control over and what do you not have control over. Once you have figured those things out, you can do something about the things you have some control over. Next, really kind of do what helps you, encourage you to have a feeling of a sense of safety.
Dr. Bender says this could be speaking to a loved one, seeing a therapist, or even starting a journal. He adds 3 extremely important things to focus on now are exercising, eating healthy, and sleeping well. Stocks today closed slightly higher than expected. The Dow up close to 12 points to 26,281. Other stocks, while slightly down, still performed better than expected. An economic expert from Bradley University tells WMBD the fact that stocks are beginning to increase in price is due to the thought that big businesses will improve within the next few months. But he says this isn't a mirror of how well the overall economy is doing.
For one sort of morbid reason why stocks have been doing well is because the big companies are doing well, the small companies are not, and so when this whole thing passes, many of the big companies will be left with less competition.
He says because stocks are improving, investors believe the market will recover. Adding stock prices tanked so much in March because no one knew how long the pandemic would last and how bad the virus would impact companies. Millions across the country are taking time to remember the life of George Floyd. We'll hear more about the action many believe still needs to happen. Plus, bouncing back from a pandemic, how the tourism industry in central Illinois is working towards recovery.
It has been a beautiful day across much of the region. Check out this time lapse as we overlook Peoria. From East Peoria, a few pop-up showers off in the distance there. Will that trend continue? We'll have your forecast coming up next.
Wmbd News, Central Illinois proud. with Kimberly Eaton, Rebecca Brumfield, and Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast. This is WMBD News at 5.
To find pickup and delivery options near you. Long John Silver's this year.
Keep the color coming back with long blooming perennials from Hair Nursery. Let our friendly experts help you plant your favorite palette. Learn more at hairnursery.com.
This summer, create the perfect outdoor space where you can dine, unwind, and enjoy family time. Save up to 50% on patio collections, sectionals, fire tables, and more. Only at the Great Escape.
Pontiac on the Storm Tracker Network, sponsored by Pontiac RV. This portion of WMBD News brought to you by Hair Nursery. Now, your local weather authority forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates.
Well, it's been a pretty decent day throughout central Illinois. We've seen a lot of this, a lot of sunshine, especially this afternoon. Good looking view on our Goods Furniture camera. All is quiet here locally. Well, we have had a few pop-up showers. I'll show you that in just a moment. It's warm, 83 degrees, humidity up to 59%. Dew points, that's why it feels so sticky out there. They're sitting in the mid to upper 60s. Temps are in the 80s region-wide. The exception is Macomb. Now it's 79. Enhanced satellite showing just a few clouds beginning to build. You see the little white dots popping up, but notice the color here. That's an indication that we've actually had a few thunderstorms popping up. And so we've seen some cooler cloud tops on our enhanced satellite. And there it is on Viper radar. Now in northern McDonough County, a few little dots here and there through portions of Stark County. We also had one dissipating shower in LaSalle County. This is how things are going to go through at least this evening. We'll deal with these little pop-up showers. They're not going to impact most of us. You'll just see them off in the distance. Meanwhile, more widespread thunderstorms off to our west in Iowa, and then out across the Dakotas, which is actually the system that's going to drag a cold front through central Illinois beginning tomorrow. So cold front's going to begin to push eastward tonight. We'll get some of these showers and storms racing out ahead of it. We'll get a quick shot of some rain late tonight, more so tomorrow morning. And then things will improve as we go through tomorrow afternoon. Future track for tonight, a few clouds building, and within that cloud cover, a pop-up rain shower. Chance of rain overall is pretty low. And then there's that incoming cold front pushing in from the west, or at least the storms ahead of the front. The cold front will actually arrive sometime in the afternoon. But low temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s tonight. 67 is going to be pretty common. And then as we take you through tomorrow, best chance of rain in the morning and early afternoon, and then the clouds start to clear out. Winds will eventually switch to a northerly direction, and that's going to start to push in some cooler weather, setting us up with a pretty nice weekend. Highs tomorrow, still warm ahead of the front. Temperatures are back in the upper 80s. It'll also be still a little bit on the muggier side. Let's talk about Cristobal, which has weakened back down to a tropical depression. The winds are only now at 35 miles per hour, and it is still drifting to the east-southeast at 3 miles per hour, but we're still watching this storm. Not only is it hitting Mexico very hard, with a tremendous amount of rainfall in the Yucatan Peninsula, but it's now going to begin to track north re-intensify into at least a tropical storm as it moves over the warm waters of the Gulf, and then it's going to take aim somewhere along the Gulf Coast, most likely somewhere between Houston and New Orleans as we get into early next week. Here's a look at our model wind speeds. Notice as the wind really starts to pick up as the storm starts to intensify again. Sustained winds up to about 50 miles per hour. Then it moves onshore, bringing strong winds and heavy rain. But we'll be keeping an eye on the rain with this system because, believe it or not, after we have high pressure building in this weekend, this storm is going to be heading north. Now, there is still some question as to exactly where the heaviest rain tracks, but right now it looks like Illinois is going to have a pretty good swath of moderate to heavy rain sweeping across the state as we get into Monday night, into Tuesday night. The potential is going to be there for a widespread 1 to 3 with locally higher amounts possible depending on if we see any thunderstorms. So we're going to be looking at some rising rivers likely in central Illinois by the middle to end of next week. In the end of all that rain coming through with that tropical system. Chance of storms tomorrow still looks somewhat spotty and limited. Not expecting any severe weather. The weekend looks delightful. Clouds increase Monday. Rain returns Monday night and should last through Tuesday night.
All right, not too bad. You know, I've seen, you know, the rain chances have kind of went a little wherever they wanted to go.
They've
really.
they've been slowly dropping off, which is good because, but we're going to get a pretty good punch Monday night and Tuesday night. But that's okay.
Yeah, we need it. I mean, everything needs to a little bit of.
It was funny. Yesterday, I had at the exact same time on Facebook, one person saying no more rain, another person saying we need rain. So it kind of depends where you're at.
And what you need.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Thank you. Well, the first of several memorial services begin today for George Floyd tonight. The message his family and supporters hope to share with others.
The CBS Sunday night movies are back, starting at 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS.
Hi, I'm Leonard with Verlo Mattress Factory. This month we're running our summer clearance sale. All of our mattresses, our futons, our headboards are on sale. Even the adjustables are on sale. We've got pillow tops, firm mattresses, foam mattresses. They all come with the best warranty in the industry. And then we give you on top of that the best comfort guarantee you can get in the industry. We'll even give you free local delivery and we'll take away your old mattress. Stop by Verlo and let's see what we can do to help you.
He was just another poor farm boy facing an uncertain future in the Black Hills of South Dakota. But through a series of events only God could orchestrate, the young man was transformed by a message that would end up touching millions of lives throughout the world. Discover what God can do with just one person that answers his call. Watch the Christian Worship Hour this week and learn about the amazing new film, Heart of a Shepherd, The Extraordinary Life of Harold E. Salem. Visit ChristianWorshipHour.com for more information about the film and weekly program times.
When it comes to gutter protection, there are foams, screens, and mesh covers, but they don't always fit properly and most times end up clogged. So forget the rest and get the best, call Leaf Guard.
It wasn't just new gutters, it was like a whole new structural system to keep the water out. It's going to be very low maintenance, so that's what sold us on it.
And with Leaf Guard's patented curved hood and oversized downspouts, the Leaf Guard gutter system will carry water away from your home fast. And right now, during Leaf Guard's $99 install sale, when you buy Leaf Guard from us, we'll install it for only $99 for a limited time. Choose 25 months no interest financing or a $400 Lowe's gift card with your Leaf Guard purchase. And when you call in during this program today, you'll also get Deader to Go, a free $50 gift card with your in-home estimate and gutter inspection. Call Leaf Guard today. Let me keep your gutters clean forever.
While our world navigates today's current challenges, 2 Men and a Truck is here for you. From the movers who care, thank you for trusting us to get you where you need to be at home.
When America needed us to build, we built. Masks, ventilators, shields. When frontliners needed support, Ford dealers answered. And now we're open and ready to serve you. With special offers like 0% financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Stop by a Ford dealership or go online. We've made it safer to shop, easier to buy. Now get 0% financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Contact your Ford dealer or stop by today.
You're watching WMBD News at 5.
Today, a memorial service for George Floyd. The service follows a night of mostly peaceful protests around the country. Yesterday, new charges were brought against a former police officer connected to his death. Skylar Henry takes us to the service in Minneapolis.
Amazing grace.
Minneapolis took its first step towards healing as family, friends, and civil rights leaders paid tribute to George Floyd.
It's time for us to stand up in George's name and say, get your knee off our necks.
The Reverend Al Sharpton eulogized Floyd, whose life was tragically cut short last week at the hands of police.
America, this is the time of dealing with accountability in the criminal justice system.
Family members shared touching memories about the father of two.
All these people came to see my brother, and that's amazing to me that he touched so many people's hearts.
When he would wrap his arms around you, you would just feel like, you were, everything could just go away.
Family attorney Ben Crump hopes Floyd's death can lead to change.
The other pandemic that we're far too familiar with in America, that pandemic of racism and discrimination that killed George Floyd.
The service here at North Central University in downtown Minneapolis is just the first of several services honoring George Floyd's life and legacy.
Floyd's death has touched off massive demonstrations nationwide and around the world and has been a rallying cry for police reform from coast to coast.
If nothing changes after this protest, if it just dies down and quiets down, another man is going to be killed just the same way.
As mourners gathered at the site where he died, 3 of the 4 officers charged in connection with Floyd's death appeared in court for the first time. Floyd's family says the officers' arrests are only the first step towards justice and that they will continue to call for their convictions. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Following today's service, Floyd's body will be flown to North Carolina, where he was born, for a public viewing. There is also a private service for families scheduled on Saturday. He will then be taken to Houston, where he grew up, for a large service there. North Central University in Minneapolis also established a scholarship in Floyd's honor. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Anita Barnabas from Redbird Dental Care. Does it bother you that you have gaps in your smile or have crooked teeth? Or are you scared of metal wires and brackets? Invisalign might be an alternative for you. Invisalign is a clear plastic aligner that helps to straighten your teeth, and it can also help improve your overall health. No wires, no brackets, no hassle. Give yourself the gift of a beautiful smile. Call Redbird Dental Care today for your free consultation. It's never too late to get that smile you deserve.
When it comes to protecting your home against water damage, LeafGuard reigns supreme. Unlike ordinary gutters that wick water through the nail hole where they were installed, LeafGuard is installed on your fascia, so it's not going to void your roofing warranty. Plus, we use screws with our patented internal hangers, so it's not coming down. And with LeafGuard's fascia wrap, you'll get added protection against water damage and extra security for the LeafGuard gutter system. Time is running out to call in today and take advantage of LeafGuard's flexible installation schedule and $99 install sale. When you buy a complete LeafGuard system from us, we'll install it for only $99. You'll also receive 25 months no interest financing or a $400 Lowe's gift card with your LeafGuard purchase. And it's your last chance to call in during this program today for the free gift, dinner to go from LeafGuard, a $50 gift card with your in-home estimate and gutter inspection. Call LeafGuard today for these great savings.
If you are injured on a motorcycle, there is a lot at risk. Call me. I can help.
Sherman's electronic price tags.
I can't believe you're still doing this.
Hi Larry, what's that?
Giving people the lowest appliance prices, automatically?
Everybody wants the best price. Why wouldn't we just give it to them?
Money, that's why. Every other place makes the customer do the shopping work and bring it up.
That sounds awful and awkward.
Yeah, that's why they do it.
You do realize Sherman's is all about making people happy, right?
Well, I'm not happy.
Can I interest you in a great price and a new appliance?
Bye, Paul.
When America needed us to build, we built. Masks, ventilators, shields. When frontliners needed support, Ford dealers answered. And now we're open and ready to serve you with special offers like 0% financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Stop by a Ford dealership or go online. We've made it safer to shop, easier to buy. Now get 0% financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Contact your Ford dealer or stop by today.
High school sports fans, get ready to see the stars. This year, the Journal Star Best of Central Illinois Preps event will be a star-studded broadcast that premieres 6 p.m. on Thursday, June 18th. The show features top professional athletes as award presenters, including Michael Phelps, Venus Williams, Drew Brees, Wayne Gretzky, and many more. The show is free for all to watch, thanks to partners Seth Q, Mike Murphy Ford, and Ray Dennison Chevrolet. Visit pjstar.com/bestofpreps for more information.
Paradise, only on the Storm Tracker Network. You're watching WMBD News at 5.
Now an update on COVID-19 here in Illinois. Tonight, the State Department of Public Health is opening up state-run testing sites for everyone, regardless of symptoms. It's to help with a new recommendation for testing. The department now recommends anyone that has been a part of recent rallies and protests should be tested in our area. Now, there is a site in Bloomington on Interstate Drive. In Peoria, the state site is at the Civic Center. Both are open each day from 8 until 4 unless they run out of testing kits. The state is reporting 929 new COVID-19 cases today. That number is just over 50 less than the total of cases reported yesterday. However, the number of deaths is up to 116, and that's compared to just under 100 yesterday. In the Tri-County area, 14 new cases reported today, 13 in Peoria County, and a singular case in Tazewell. In total, the Tri-County area, which also includes Woodford County, has a total case count of 398, along with 18 deaths. Well, 2020 is halfway over, and Peoria's tourism is on target to recover as we navigate the impact of COVID-19. The Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau believes each sector of tourism has separate challenges to overcome. Still, the CEO of Enjoy Peoria believes people who live in central Illinois are open to returning to a form of normalcy.
Our hospitality side to continue to look forward. Restaurants are now open, outdoor, indoor seating will come at some point, so that cleanliness will be important for all of us.
Businesses can register to let customers know that they're COVID-19 compliant. The link for certification on our website, ciproud.com. Well, don't go anywhere. Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates returns with a final look at your forecast.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, we are in Minneapolis, where mourners gathered today to honor the life of George Floyd. Plus, we meet a young demonstrator who says his hope is for change. And two historians tell us it won't be easy. And the artists behind this now iconic mural tell us how it is healing a community. That's all coming up tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Hustling & Abbott, Illinois' largest bankruptcy-only law firm. Voted 2019's leading lawyer in bankruptcy and foreclosure defense. Just named a top 3 bankruptcy attorney. Call now for a free consultation.
We're open for business. Celebrate the red, white, and blue at Goods Furniture. Shop our 250,000 square foot showroom today. Your home is your sanctuary. Create the look you love. Save on everything for your home. And right now, get ready for summer with big savings on outdoor furniture and accessories. Ask us about flexible delivery options to meet your needs. It's the red, white, and blue celebration at Goods Furniture in Kewanee.
Take the hassle out of pavement restoration with Purdue Pavement Solutions. Whether seal coating, crack sealing, or parking lot repair. And now featuring pavement sweeping. For professional quality pavement craftsmanship, trust Purdue Pavement Solutions.
Peoria Siding and Window Company has been providing worry-free home improvements at a great value for more than 40 years. Windows, siding, doors, roofing, sunrooms, we do it all. Time to replace your roof? We offer roofing in a variety of styles and colors and are an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Roofer. Now is the perfect time for a free in-home consultation.
Peoria Siding and Window. You've got a friend in the business.
Mom's gonna kill us.
Gorilla Super Glues. Of course.
Gorilla has a fix for every project. Original brush and nozzle and ultra-controlled gel for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Constant hand washing causes hands to dry and crack. Try O'Keefe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 hand cream for guaranteed relief of dry, cracked hands. Also available in O'Keefe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet.
The Ducks are back. Adopt a duck in the 32nd annual duck race benefiting the Center for Prevention of Abuse for your chance to win amazing prizes. Adopt early and help build a safe and peaceful community. DuckRacePeoria.com.
Osling & Abbott, Illinois' largest bankruptcy-only law firm, announces Zoom virtual intaking. It's your choice. Meet with our attorneys face-to-face or on a Zoom virtual office visit. Contact us at bcyhelp.com.
You're watching WMBD News at 5.
All right, Chris. So this weather looking pleasant for the most part. A little bit of showers.
There's a few bumps on the road, but generally trending in a good direction. It's going to be quite comfortable this weekend. So get out, spend some time, and then we'll get some rain next week. As for tonight, things are pretty quiet. 67 for a low. Stray showers are possible, just not likely. They're going to remain very, very isolated. A few showers and storms tomorrow morning into early afternoon. Temps are back in the upper 80s. And then things start to cool off a little bit. Low 80s for the weekend with a lot of sunshine, great outdoor weather. And then temperatures start to warm up early next week. Rain returns Monday night through Tuesday night. That is with remnants from Crystal Bowl that is going to be impacting the Gulf this week.
Wow, that's always interesting how that eventually makes its way up here to the Midwest.
Always finds its way back here. Yeah.
Always, always. All right, Chris, thank you. And thank you for joining us here on WMBD. We're available on air, online, and on the go. We'll see you right back here at 6 o'clock. The CBS Evening News is up next.